Okay, good morning, guys. Let's start going over our skills for this week. So, our first skill is conflict. And the what is good readers determine whether the conflict in the story is external or internal or both. So, external meaning outside of oneself, internal meaning inside of yourself. So, external conflict is a problem caused by another character or event. Internal conflict is a problem inside the main character's heart or mind. So this could be a tough feeling or a tricky choice. Let's talk about an example. Say you're reading a story about, let's take the Watsons Go to Birmingham. Um, an internal feeling that one of the main characters had, the younger son, was that he was a little bit nervous about Byron going down to be with his grandparents, right? So that was an internal feeling. So internal conflict was him being nervous. An external conflict may be Byron's choice to act out and do these actions that caused him to have to go to Birmingham for the summer. So those are quick examples. And how? So number one thing you want to do is determine if the character is facing an internal problem, an external problem, or both by asking A, external. Is the problem being caused by another character or event? How does the impact the character's motivation? So therefore, how does this conflict affect the story? How does this affect maybe the character's motivation over time? Sometimes you can't determine this within a few pages. Maybe it takes you a little bit longer to determine the motivation and how it changes throughout time in the story. B, internal. How does the character feel about the conflict? How does that make the character feel about themselves? How does that impact the character's motivation? So, why? Good readers determine the internal and external conflicts because it helps them to understand the character's motivation. So, basically, what motivates this character to make the choices that they make throughout the story? Next, we have narrative plot. So, what? Plot is the order of important events in a story that led to the resolution of the problem. Some stories have more than one problem and more than one plot happening at the same time. So, how you do this is first to identify the exposition. Look for clues about the characters and the setting. Two, identify the rising action about the conflicts. Three, identify the climax. Look for clues that the conflict is at its peak. You'll know when this when it seems that there is no possible solution. So remember that chart we made a long time ago? It kind of looks like this. So the exposition would be down here, right? Then the rising action goes up the low mountain. The peak or the climax is the conflict, okay? So the next we have the falling action, which would be going this way. So you have to identify the falling action by looking for clues about how the story begins to slow down and tie up loose ends. So this is kind of where this problem starts to kind of start getting solved. They're coming up with clues. Maybe they're trying to find solutions, but they haven't quite found one. And then finally, number five is identify the resolution, which will be at the bottom of the model. And when you do this, you look for clues about how the conflicts are resolved. So, how is the problem solved? Okay. And why? Good readers identify and keep track of the important events in each plot in the story to see how multiple problems are resolved. Okay. So, I hope that helps you when you're doing your quick writes this week and your correct constructive responses. And I will see you guys soon.